In 1943, in Rochester, New York, an unmarked building sat behind high fences and guarded entrances. Inside, Eastman Kodak, the company famous for cameras and film, was manufacturing something that had nothing to do with photography. The workers called it the Lincoln plant. Neighbors had no idea what happened inside. And the object rolling off the assembly line looked completely harmless. It was a baseball, except it wasn't. It was a hand grenade, designed to explode the instant it hit anything. The Office of Strategic Services, America's wartime intelligence agency, believed this weapon would revolutionize close combat. The logic seemed flawless. Every American man grew up throwing baseballs. Give soldiers a grenade shaped exactly like one, and they would throw it farther, more accurately, and with no additional training. The enemy would never see it coming. The weapon was officially designated the T-13 Beano grenade. According to U.S. Ordnance records cited in Small Arms Review, the Army placed a contract for roughly 825,000 units. In reality, only a fraction were ever built, and fewer still ever left American soil. By the end of World War II, the Beano grenade had killed and injured more American soldiers than enemy combatants. Its entire production run was ordered destroyed. What was supposed to terrify the Germans became one of the most dangerous failures in American weapons history. The problem was real and urgent. Standard American grenades in 1943 were heavy, awkward, and slow. The two Malawian Quachars fragmentation grenade, the famous pineapple, weighed nearly 600 grams and required a specific throwing technique that felt unnatural to most soldiers. Worse, it used a time delay fuse. Pull the pin, release the spoon, and you had 4 to 5 seconds before detonation. That delay protected the thrower, but it also gave the enemy time to react. German soldiers, especially veterans of the Eastern Front, had developed a deadly skill. They caught grenades and threw them back. After-action reports from North Africa and Italy describe Wehrmacht troops grabbing grenades off the ground, or even catching them mid-air, and hurling them back before they exploded. The British Mills bombs suffered the same flaw. Time delay fuses gave quick-thinking enemies a chance to return the weapon. The obvious solution was an impact fuse grenade, one that detonated instantly on contact. No delay. No warning. No throwing it back. But engineers had been trying, and failing, to build such a weapon for decades. A grenade sensitive enough to explode on impact was also sensitive enough to explode if dropped, bumped, or mishandled. Making it safe made it unreliable. Making it reliable made it deadly to its own user. Every army that tried had failed. The OSS believed American ingenuity could succeed where others had not. The idea is commonly attributed to Colonel Carl Eifler, commander of OSS Detachment 101 in Burma. According to museum records, Eifler noticed that his men, like most American males of the era, had grown up throwing baseballs. The motion was instinctive, accurate, powerful. So he asked a simple question. OSS Research and Development Chief Stanley P. Lovell, nicknamed Professor Moriarty for his unconventional weapons, loved the idea. He had already overseen exploding coal, suicide pills, and other clandestine devices. A baseball grenade fit perfectly into the OSS mindset. The specifications were ambitious. Exact size and shape of a regulation baseball, detonate on impact at any angle, no detonation during handling or throwing, simple enough for any soldier to use instantly. Eastman Kodak got the contract. Kodak had precision manufacturing expertise and facilities that could be quietly converted to secret weapons production. The grenades were marked EKC for Eastman Kodak Company. The problems appeared immediately. A real baseball weighs 5.5 ounces. That wasn't enough to contain explosives, a fuse, and a fragmentation casing. Something had to give. The final grenade weighed 12 ounces, more than double the original specification. Still lighter than the two Malawian Quachars, but no longer a true baseball. Inside was 9 ounces of Composition A, an RDX-based explosive far more powerful than TNT. The steel casing was just 1 millimeter thick, designed to fragment uniformly. On paper, it was devastating. The heart of the weapon, and its fatal flaw, was the T5 impact fuse. The thrower held the grenade like a baseball, gripping a weighted butterfly cap. A safety pin prevented arming. When thrown, the cap detached and trailed a nylon cord. When the cord fully extended, it pulled the arming pin. The grenade was now live. Any impact would trigger detonation. OSS specifications required the grenade to detonate when dropped from just 18 inches onto sponge rubber. That sensitivity guaranteed it would explode on anything: mud, water, snow, a human body. It also guaranteed disaster if anything went wrong. Testing began in late 1943. Early production grenades detonated when dropped from just 6 inches. Soldiers were injured during basic handling drills. But the worst problem was the throwing motion itself. If a soldier's grip slipped, even slightly, the arming cord could pull early. The grenade could arm while still in the hand. The natural follow-through of a throw could slam the live grenade into the thrower's own body. On November 3, 1944, a civilian tester threw a grenade straight up to test the fuse. It armed on the way up. It came down on his head. He was killed instantly. Despite this, the army pushed forward. The war wasn't over. Improved fuses were rushed into production. In February 1945, about 10,000 grenades were sent to Europe for field trials. The results were catastrophic. Out of 2,742 grenades thrown, nearly 10% failed to detonate, especially in mud, snow, water, and cold weather. The fuse mechanisms froze. Worse, 5 grenades detonated prematurely during throwing, killing 2 Americans and wounding around 44. On March 22, 1945, General Joseph Stilwell ordered all testing stopped. Days later, production was suspended. The Beano was dead. According to historian Dr. John W. Bruner, the T-13 Beano killed and injured more Americans during development than it ever harmed the enemy. No confirmed enemy casualties exist in the archival record. The legend of terrified German soldiers appears to be pure myth. The Beano failed for a simple reason. 1940s technology couldn't distinguish between a deliberate throw and a fatal mistake. Modern impact grenades use electronic sensors and accelerometers, technology decades away in World War II. The idea wasn't stupid. It was ahead of its time. And sometimes, the most brilliant ideas are the ones that simply arrive too early.